to ArcLay Overcast. As you may have heard, there was a wee little update released about the upcoming Resident Evil movie reboot, Welcome to Raccoon City. And when I say wee little, I mean the update is only like 3 pictures, and a short interview IGN had with the director Johannes Roberts. But we don't really care that much about interviews, right? Let's see some pictures. Boom! Alright, so first off, this picture speaks for itself. This is obviously supposed to be the Resident Evil 2 remake versions of Leon and Claire. But really the first thing I notice about it is just how cheap the costumes look. Honestly, they look like a random couple that they got to model a couple of cheap Halloween costumes. Now, it's also obvious that these actors look nothing like the characters, but we already knew that from the start. And that goes for the whole cast, not just these two. But we're just gonna have to hope they can pull off the part and at least remind us of the original characters. I did read the interview with Johannes and he put it this way. The difference with this film as opposed to the previous movies is that it is an ensemble where each of the main characters carries huge importance to the narrative. They are not just cosplay characters who have the exact hair and costume of the characters, Robert said. It was hugely important with the whole casting process to find people who embodied the spirit and energy of the characters I wanted to portray. I think often in game adaptations one of the big flaws can be just casting someone to look visually like the characters, giving them the identical haircut and clothes but not really trying to give the audience the thing that a movie does better than a game, which is to create a three-dimensional character that you can really connect with and believe in. Now, if you keep up with the franchise, you know that Leon is the overused poster child of the whole thing, but he's been a massive fan favorite since the original Resident Evil 2 in 1998. Though is Johannes playing with fire here, making such a drastic change to Leon's appearance? In his interview, he goes on to say this about Leon. Roberts recalled the particularly difficult search for the right actor to play Leon S. Kennedy. We must have seen so many people. It was really quite a tricky role because of the balance of humor and weariness. Then Yvonne read, and I was like, he's the one, he gets it. But knowing what we know about Leon, we know that he's really not that funny in Resident Evil 2. He doesn't get that sarcastic sense of humor until the later games, when he's older. So maybe in the movie he's gonna have older Leon's personality. And moving on, here we have our STARS team. That's supposed to be Wesker there in the front. It's Chris and Jill there behind him. And the fellow in the yellow there in the background is supposed to be Richard Aiken, if you remember is the one that got bit by the snake. But I wonder if this is the whole team that they're using for the movie. Now keep in mind, because I have to keep telling myself this, that this is just a picture. And we don't know what part of the movie this is, or what they've done so far, or who else may be there with them. You know, obviously Barry's not in this picture, and it's really gonna suck if Barry's not in the movie as part of the STARS team. But maybe they'll explain all that, and maybe there'll be appearances from other characters as well. We just don't know yet. But here it looks like they're in the main hall area of the mansion. Looks kinda similar to this part from the game. Now, obviously, the only one that's even close to resembling their respective character is Robbie Amell here, who's playing Chris Redfield. And again, we can only hope that everyone else just pulls it off. I kind of worry that there's going to be maybe a lot of overacting, you know, a lot of trying too hard, making some of the characters seem like overly or unrealistically tough. And I better not see any karate moves, man, because if I do, I'm done.
Screw you guys, I'm going home.
Now the last picture we have is little Lisa Trevor, if you remember as the daughter of the architect George Trevor who helped build the mansion in the Resident Evil 1 remake. And when Umbrella killed George, they took Lisa and experimented on her. And according to the game, that was in 1967. That mask she's wearing is someone else's face. And obviously looks a little bit different from the game, but it'll be interesting to see how they pull it off. This is the only monster we've got to take a look at so far, so pretty neat. And another thing that Johannes mentioned in his interview that kinda worries me is that he said they worked hand in hand with Capcom to help make this movie. Now, think whatever you want about Capcom, but have you seen the Resident Evil titles they've been pushing out lately? As a hardcore old school Resident Evil fan, it's my honest opinion that 90s Capcom created Resident Evil and made it so great. But there's new people in office now, and they've just completely ruined it. Not dissing on anyone who likes the new school RE games or movies, or if you like the entire franchise as a whole, and enjoy what Capcom's doing with it. But to me, it just feels like Capcom doesn't care to cater to what Resident Evil fans really want. And it worries me if they had anything to do with this movie. But that's just my opinion. But enough of that now. Let me know in the comments what you think about these pictures and how you feel about how the movie's looking. Please like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.